Unemployment Insurance Fund, UIF, has started processing claims for the new paternity benefits. This happened from the 1st of this month. Payment, which will be received by contributing and qualifying UIF beneficiaries, is for a maximum of 10 days and will be calculated on a flat rate of 66% of the contributable remuneration. So now, news that new fathers and adopting parents will be entitled to 10 days of paternity leave has been welcomed with joy, more so in a society where fathers have always been said to be not so involved in their newborn babies' lives. To talk to us more about the changes, we have now in studio with me Bongani Luvano. He is the co-founder of Cool Dads, and from our Pretoria studios we joined by Mbuyiselo Bota. He is the commissioner from the Commission for Gender Equality. Gentlemen, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for coming through. Bongani, maybe let's just start with you. For someone who's never heard of Cool Dads Foundation, what's this foundation all about?
Thank you, Palisa, and thanks to the listeners, to the viewers at home. The foundation is a movement of young fathers who seek to change, the perception around what fatherhood is supposed to be, and also taking or drawing lessons from some of our own experiences. One, some of us grew up without fathers in the house. Others have had fathers in the house, but they have never had any emotional relationship with their fathers. And we said we would love to actually redefine what fatherhood is all about and what parenthood is about. And that's when, with a group of friends, 6 years ago, we decided that let's mobilize each other as a generation so that we can start enforcing or seeing that we spend time with our kids, we connect with our kids emotionally, we become friends to our kids, and we are responsible fathers who can assist our kids to, view life and understand what life is, so that whatever decisions they make, they are informed by what they have been given and afforded as an opportunity from their own fathers. But
do you also reach out to fathers who are perhaps not involved in their children's lives?
No, definitely. We've got two aspects in that. One, it's fathers who have got broken relations with the mother of their kids and who want us to assist them to access their kids because of their being denied access by the family or from the mother's side. And we also have got mothers who would say that there are broken relations between themselves and the father, and they would want to be assisted to mend those relations so that they can have a relationship with their kids. So we do that in two different ways, where the father is the one that is reaching out, and in most times you would find that men will just, because of those disputes, they'll just walk away. And through Commission for Gender Equality and also some of the lawyers that we've been able to garner support from, we've been able to assist those fathers to actually go to family courts to seek, parental plans, to have some conversation between themselves and the mother of their kids. But also we've got mothers that have been praising the participation of their partners or the father of their kids in the foundation, to say since they've been participating in some of our programs, they've now learned to trust, their partners or the father to their kids. I think earlier on you made a comment about would we really take advantage of the 10 days of paternity. And mothers have said that at least they've seen 8 different behavioral change amongst, this generation of fathers.
All right. So let's go to Pretoria now. Ndate Bota, your take as the Commission on these new amendments?
Well, I think, Palisa, good afternoon to you and to your viewers. I think, Palisa, it's going to go a long way in improving relationships in our society, but it's also going to do a lot of changing the perceptions about fathers. Our take is that a father's involvement should not only, Palisa, stop at fathers just being ATMs. We have to be involved in ensuring that we assist our partners, but more than that, to make sure that there is this connectedness with our children beyond the ATM, beyond the financial aspect, Palisa.
But is 10 days enough? I mean, we stay at home for plus 3 months on maternity leave. Will this 10 days be enough to create that bond between a father and his child?
But I think, Palisa, it's a start, and it's a good start that all of us must applaud, must encourage. It's a good start, but also it means, therefore, that it will not only be 10 days that is paid, but also as fathers, it's going to increase, or it's going to conscientize us. It's going to say something to us that, look at the benefits. By the way, Palisa, the benefits are not only to the children or to the spouse, the benefits are also to me as a father, in that the bonding will happen, but also the joy that it brings when you know that you are in the life of your child. So one must say that it's commendable, it's a good start. It will in fact talk to issues that you alluded to about the absent fathers in our country.
So, Bongani, the foundation's take on these Labour Law Amendment Act, do you think this is a step in the right direction for fathers?
Of course, we welcome it. From 3 days to 10 days, at least. That's quite a significant
Maybe I
move.
should also ask you, will this 10 days be enough for you as a father to bond with your baby?
It's not enough, and I think the journey starts immediately when news are announced that you guys are pregnant. That's where the journey starts, with visiting the gynecologist and interacting with each and every phase of the growth of your child. That's where the bond actually starts. So by the time the child is born, you would have opened that relationship, and you would have synced yourself, to understand that you've got an infant that is coming, and this is how you are supposed to relate with the child. So the 10 days, although it's not much, because of most of the time, the child in those days, literally they sleep, they wake up, they want to eat, and they fall asleep again. But
so that means
it's a good start.
That means that you guys can safely go to a Chisanyama and leave the new baby born and a mother on their own.
It's a bad perception. I think there's research, maybe that Botha would also allude to this. There's a research that confirms that between ourselves and the generation of Tate Botha and their own fathers, how they've interacted with their kids and how they've spent time with their kids, it's quite different from our own generation. And research confirms that there is improved relations between fathers and their kids, and the edge from young fathers to want to be involved in their children's lives. So I don't really think it will be a question of a Chisanyama. While you are taking a nap, he will fix a bottle, he can change a child's diaper. I think we are more susceptible to that kind of a thing as a generation, because we are living in a modernized society, and it brings joy to young fathers having to see yourself feeding your own child, having to be assisting your partner. And I think as a society, for us to reintroduce a culture of understanding that parenthood is not about motherhood and fatherhood, but both the father and the mother have got to jointly.
I mean, you get some guys saying that, listen, Majid, I won't be able to join you this weekend because I'm babysitting. And for me, it's like, you babysitting your own children? Aren't you taking
because
care
of
of them?
That's what you would have said to me. Babes, I need to go to a society or Stockfell, or I'm going to a
Actually, don't babysit,
Please,
do you?
Babes. No, you're the one who says babysit. So it's what society has introduced as a language. And if we embrace that language, then, it's sort of like we are continuing to say this is an acceptable culture. It's not, it's just a language, but men actually look forward to doing those things. If you could see when we have our picnics, when we have got our activities, the joy that men come. I think when we started, we had about 40 men that came with their kids. That was in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. When in May we had our Cool Dads picnic, we had over 100 young fathers, who came with their kids. One guy brought 4 of his kids alone, and that's a space where we don't allow mothers.
So they are more present than generation Tate Botha. How do we make sure that the men will use this 10 days effectively and solely for the purpose of taking care of the newborn baby?
Well, Palisa, we need to encourage them. We need to continue with the positive, because I said to you off air that it's actually not true, the myth that fathers will go and drink, fathers will, do other things other than looking after their babies. And Palisa, these myths are perpetuated by the notion that fathers can't raise their children. And we think that if we say to men that, look, there's value, there are benefits, not only for kids, not for the partner, as I said earlier, Palisa is going to go a long way in ensuring that, in fact, we bring to a stop this fatherlessness in our country. One of the best ways is exactly this paternity for men who would know that, in fact, I am part and parcel of being pregnant, and in giving birth, I'm also part and parcel of that child, because that child belongs to both of us. So I said to you that there is no evidence that says or suggests that men will abuse, misuse these 10 days. We as a country, we need to redirect, rethink how we think of men, so that we have this positive language which would engender some positivity in men.
All right, and we've had experts before in studio who are basically saying that we're seeing this violence playing out in our schools and society as a whole because of some absent fathers. So I suppose this is a step in the right direction in terms of addressing such.
No, definitely it is. But we've got to reintroduce a culture. I had a friend over the weekend, he said he's rushing to a pregnancy workshop with the wife. This is somebody who's going to access a health system in the private sector. A Bongane who's unemployed, who's impregnated Palisa, while you get to understand the journey of pregnancy and you get to be guided, I do not have, the fortunes of being taught how am I supposed to participate in this pregnancy, because of it's both of us who are pregnant. How do I help you when you are having this kind of an occasion or you are having that kind of an instance? So we really need to look further. While we appreciate this 10 days, I think we've got to then start a conversation that says, in the public sector, how do we ensure that we allow fathers to be part and parcel of the pregnancy journey of their
Time
partners?
constraints. I promise to have both of you back in studio to continue the discussion. It is a very busy day due to the Springboks arriving today, but many thanks there to my guests as we move along now.